Hey guys, how's it going? Great to see more fresh faces. Everyone is excited for computing. Is that right? Oh, I didn't hear that. Yes, that's right. All right. So my name's Kunal. As I mentioned, I actually graduated from Macquarie Uni. Prior to that, I also went to high school, just like you guys. I graduated, when I graduated from Macquarie Uni, I went straight into my current organization called Ernst & Young. It's called EY, because we just went through a rebranding, just to make it easier for you to say EY than Ernst & Young. So I did 2 degrees. One was computing and one was accounting. After coming into EY, I have, went through a little bit of a stage where I wanted to do a bit of accounting, but I decided I actually enjoyed computing. And this is a big theme, okay? The entire presentation today, Tony's going to talk about this a bit later on. It's a pretty big theme because your career is not completely set now. This is the time for you to think about what you want to do. Think about what do you like to do. So hopefully this presentation will give you that insight. And we'll just keep going. Right, so what's on the agenda for today? So hopefully we'll be able to answer these 4 questions that you can see up there. Where can I work? So in the field of computing or IT, where can I work? What are some current IT trends that you should probably be aware of? Maybe it's an area that you actually like. What can I do and what can I earn? Big questions, yeah? You want to be earning a lot of money so you can travel? What's the culture like and what's your experience? That 4th point is probably the most important thing that you'll get out of today, because we can, you can do a lot of stuff at uni, but at the end of the day, what's it like actually working out there? If you know that now, you'll know how to prepare for it at uni. So where can you work? It's IT. It's computing. Everywhere. You don't have a limit. There is no limits on where you can work. All of those industries that you see up there, as an IT consultant with Ernst & Young, we have clients in every single one of those places, industries. Every single one of those. They all need IT services in some form or another. It's a very, very big area. And in order for them to stay competitive, these industries should be competitive, you need to have a form of IT, right? And it's not just programming, it's not help desk support, that's not IT. It's a lot more than that. And hopefully when we go through some of these trends, you'll get to see what exactly it is. And then later on when we get to understand some of the courses that are being offered. So, one more thing. Those industries that we just mentioned, it's not just Australian industries, right? Across the globe, across the world, right? Australian, international, anywhere in the world, you'll have the same industries. Right, so let's talk about some of the trends, right? One key thing about computing or IT, it's cutting edge. It literally is cutting edge. There's something new happening all the time. Some of the stuff we're going to talk about right now, or some of the stuff that we're going to go through, this stuff's pretty new. A lot of clients are only thinking about, a lot of our businesses are only thinking about it now. A lot of you guys are probably playing with, using laptops, using iPads and all of that. It's pretty new. I didn't have it when I was at high school. It changes very, very quickly. Changes very quick. And the good thing about this industry is it'll keep you, you won't get bored. Let's just say that. So let's go through a couple of the trends, yeah? Mobile computing. Big, very big, right? Bill Gates, he actually said a long time ago, you only need about 637 kilobytes of memory. For those people that do know what a kilobyte is, that's very little, right? In your pockets right now, if you have your phone in your pocket, you probably got 100 times that, right? Things change a lot. And mobile computing is where things are heading, right? The power at the palm of your hands. That's a good slogan. All right. Now, a lot of the other stuff that we're going to probably talk about later on is going to sort of feed in from mobile computing, especially things such as, what you can do on your phones, some of the apps that you can develop on your phones. Because a lot of businesses, right, they're trying to move towards a more mobile workforce, right? So you'll be thinking about solutions on how to make that easy. Yep. So this is an offshoot from having everything mobile. Now some of you guys are probably looking and saying, cloud computing? Is it really doing computing on the clouds? No, that's not physically possible yet. But we'll get there. Yeah. What it is essentially the internet. A cloud represents the internet. Poof, it's just up there, right? You can be here in Australia, working across the ocean, on a server that's somewhere in the US, or in China, or wherever, right? What cloud computing is basically trying to tell you is, let's figure out where your servers or your software is. We just access it on the net. Think about Gmail, right? And if any of you know, think about all your word processing that you can do on your desktops. You can now just do it on your phone, do it through the website. That is where businesses also want to go, right? They want their workforce to be out, in whoop whoop, saying, I need to access my office right now, my office network right now. There's a lot of opportunities in cloud computing. There's a lot of variety of things that you can do. And the things that you learn at uni and things that you learn just in IT in general will relate to that. Now I put social networking in because it's big. Social networking, it's true what they say about, whatever you tweet, it's going to be on Google forever. What you put on Facebook, they've got that information stored somewhere, right? And the thing is, there's a massive market for interpreting that information. How do I link you to you to you to you to you? Social media, social marketing and social media, all of this, sort of tries to answer that. It tries to say, I have something that I want to sell, or I have something here. How does that link to all of you people? And you might be surprised to see that 10% of you probably know each other in some way or another through someone else. And the thing is, that's possible because in the field of computing, you work on these types of solutions to say, how do I link these people together? What are some of the things that we look at? It's a challenging problem-solving type of environment. It's a great field, and that it can be. And a result of it is because you're doing computing, right? Now, wow, we just talked about so much, all this personal information about you that's out there, right? Information about the businesses themselves, security, right? If you don't spend enough on this area, all of that information is accessible to anyone. And businesses probably deserve to be hacked if they don't spend enough on it. But the thing is, you guys don't deserve to have your information stolen. So businesses spend a lot of money in this area, security. Now, when I first started at Ernst & Young, I was in the IT security area, which all falls under IT risk, because at the end of the day, the security of what could go wrong is your information could fall into the wrong hands, and that's a risk. So risk has a whole bunch of areas, security being one of them. A very interesting field, a growing, not just growing, it's an immense field. Every industry needs a form of security. I put this one in mainly because when I was in high school and I came into uni, I liked gaming, but my parents would hassle me all the time. Why are you playing that game? Stop playing games. Study. I was like, okay. But when I came into uni, they had, you could actually do stuff like this. You could there were certain subjects, there wasn't a whole degree, but there were certain subjects where you could learn it. But the thing is, I didn't really know about it. And the thing is, if I did, I may have done a little bit of it, just to see, am I interested in actually developing a game? So, and it's a very big industry. It is a big industry. And you can have a lot of fun doing this because you're actually creating something. You're becoming an entertainer. All right, big data. Now, I haven't actually told you where I work in with the UI. So although I started off with the IT security team, I am actually, for the last year, I've actually been with the enterprise intelligence team. And for you, all of you guys, it's not the CIA. It is just looking at data and answering questions about data, about information, business information, answering questions that Mr. Joe Blow and Business X has. So they'll say, are we profitable? Say, well, give me all your information and I'll tell you if are you profitable. It's just one question. It's a yes or no. But they give you all that and you just need that little bit. Exciting field. Great and exciting field, right? I think I heard something where by 2015 you're going to have about 15 million jobs in this area. It's still growing. And you know what? A lot of places, a lot of clients that I've worked with, they're only realizing the power of this now. And that's the reason why it's becoming such a big area. And a lot of universities, a lot of other businesses are starting to think about this area. Because it's problem solving at the end of the day. It's modeling a solution. And a lot of fun because I do it and I'm enjoying it. So I guess the next thing is, so what can you do and what can you earn? And for this, I'm going to get Antonio to present, my lovely assistant.
Thank you. Very lovely assistant. Okay guys, let me see if I can work out these mics, then I'll get onto it. Let's see here. We focus on problem solving in EY, so we're good at this stuff. Cool. Can you guys hear me in the back?
Yep.
Perfect. What can I do and what can I earn? Okay. All right, just to give everyone a really quick background on sort of where I am and sort of where I started, where I came from. When I was at high school, I was in year 12, I did software. I had a great subject, had a great teacher, really got me enthusiastic and excited about the subject I was doing, which was software at the time. And I was thinking, and that's a key question for you right now actually, where you're at in your career, because you have started your career. When you started high school, you started your career. And the key question for you at this point is, what can you do in your life that's going to be enjoyable but also make a living for yourself? And for me that was, how do I integrate my enjoyment and the joy I got out of computing and make money out of it? And also benefit from the skills that I had. Now, I like people. I love working with people. I love engaging with people, and I love talking with clients. I'm stubborn and I talk a lot, so I make a really good consultant. And that's essentially what we do at EY. We're a company of consultants. We're a professional services firm, that's what we're branded as, and we've got the trendy new concatenated logo of EY as opposed to Ernst & Young, right? Seems to be the trending thing to do at the moment. So the question was, what could I do? I decided doing a degree in business and IT. So I did a degree in business and IT, and I just followed opportunities that presented themselves. Now, up here you see a really sequential sort of pattern. You see, okay, HSC, then uni, then intern, then graduate. Well, you know what? That's probably not going to be exactly how it's going to happen for you. This is a very quick guideline of what could potentially happen. Didn't happen for me like that, and it didn't happen for my colleague Kanal like that. He did it slightly different to me. I spent some time whilst I was at university working. So coming into EY, I had about 2 years experience working in the industry. I did some consulting roles with IBM and a company called Accenture. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of the companies or not, but they're other IT consulting firms. And I also did some development work, actually, in Arnott's. We made biscuits and what have you, right? We got free biscuits and it was a great experience. You gain 5 kilos when you start work there. So that was fun, that was good. I did that for 2 years while I was at university. went on exchange, forgot about the rest of the world for 8 months, came back and started work at EY. And when I came here, I thought to myself, well, what do I really want to do? I really like the analytics space. And so that's what I went into. At the moment, what we do is analytics and enterprise intelligence. It's a very fancy word for saying we provide intelligence to organizations. The key point I really want to draw to this slide is uni. At the bottom of it, it's talking about do something that you enjoy at uni. I can't stress that point enough. Because if you do something you enjoy, the rest will come afterwards. I know you're going to hear that's really cliche saying that, but it really is important because uni is an opportunity, and it's a slide we're going to get to in a minute, about learning how to learn. You really, at university, learn how to absorb things and learn how to then take that and then apply that in a workforce where you're going to learn 70% of what you need on the job. You'll get foundations at uni. You'll get courses like programming where you need to learn foundations if you want to do computing. Now, that's not to say if you don't like programming, that's the only thing you do in computing. No, please, far from it. As Kunal mentioned, if you don't like programming, there's 100 other things you do in computing. I am not a great programmer. I have my skill set, different to Kunal's skill set, and when you work, you'll find out that what you're good at, your companies will take advantage of that. And you're going to change your career path in your life, let's be honest. A lot of you are going to change. I know a guy who went, I mean, you've seen MasterChef, right? That's point proven. The amount of IT consultants who came into MasterChef must have been amazing. All right, so here is just, look, I'm not going to spend a long time on this. It's a quick guideline of salary ranges, roughly. This is just pulled from the net. My friend Google gave me these. They're quite rough, but they do give you a good guideline of saying, okay, look, in the IT industry, the salaries are very competitive. So if it's something it's important to you, it's a good field at the moment to be getting into. That's that. Don't base your career on money, please. Right. So here's a key question. Here's something that I think can give you a great idea on. I mean, you can go downstairs and get all the information you want, and we're not the people who are going to be able to tell you about academics and what you're going to be experiencing. But what we can do, and what we can tell you, is once you've passed that university life, what sort of life can you expect, and what can you experience? Me, as just having started 3 months ago with Ernst & Young, the lifestyle that you live at this sort of age, and the culture and the people that you meet. It is so important to network at this age. Even while you're at university, you'll end up working with these people. The people sitting next to you, I guarantee you'll find one of them down the track in your career, more than one. I've worked with consultants at IBM, where I then met on a different client when I was working for a completely different company, Accenture. And it is really that true, that this is a people industry. Computing is not just about sitting at a desk and programming away. If that's what you want to do, that's a really good career as well. It wasn't my choice in my life. And I like the consulting and the people. But whichever industry you go into, you will face that idea of networking. And I personally really like that. That's something that I think is an integral part of any sort of company. Right, so travel. So where are we going? Tokyo, Washington, Toronto. So far, EY hasn't sent me to any of those places. Perhaps Canberra every now and again. But look, the point here in what I'm trying to say and what this slide's trying to get across is that a career in consulting is very varied. You're going to be working on projects, and one of the differences I found about our company in particular is I'll be working on a project for 2 months, then I'll get another project that's 3 days long. Completely different. Your mindset changes. If you're like me and you have a very, very short attention span, you're going to love it. Truly. And you also have the option with secondments. So if it's something you're interested in, at the moment, Silicon Valley in America, amazing, going off. I mean, the IT jobs there at the moment are just incredible. I've got a friend of mine working over there. It's amazing. I mean, even in the UK, there's quite a bit going on. So if that's something you're interested in the Asian countries, amazing. Singapore, Hong Kong, a lot going on. And if that's something you're keen about, your life as a consultant or an IT professional can take you to any of these sort of places. And I believe Len will talk about later in regards to how transferable these skill sets are to other countries and degree programs. Okay, cool. Everyone's favourite, work-life balance. So, AKA going to the pub on a Friday night. Look, I think at some point you have to question whether you work too much or too little, or whether you're spending enough time with your family, and all those sort of issues. They'll come up in your career. I'm a big believer of working hard and then playing hard. I really believe that at the end of a week, working hard, your company should support your work-life balance and facilitate that. So, for example, at the moment, we have a lot of corporate events. So you will have, we had the other day a cupcake event for everyone who was born in September. We had little faces on their little mini cupcakes, and we got to pick who we got to eat that day. So that was fun. Yeah, that's a corporate life for you. No, but that's some of the initiatives that you'll find in some of these companies. It's gotten to a point in Australia where it's very good, and you'll find other companies, not just us. There's other companies, particularly in the IT field, what they call and what they term very fancily, and whether appropriately or not, is biological companies and organic companies. Companies such as the Atlassians or the Googles or others like that, where the work environment, you want to be there. They have beer taps in their kitchenettes. They have a free vending machine the size of this whiteboard. That's the sort of thing that within the IT field in particular is really sort of, trending at the moment. So if you're the type of person who really likes to go out on a Friday night, it's a career path for you. Right, so I was talking about learning. What you're going to find, and I think you'll find this a lot, is whatever you study, and this is where I say don't worry too much about, this is such a stressful time. You're going to go into your HSC. I think you're between your trials and your HSC at this point. You worry about your UAI, sorry, not UAI, what do you call it now? ATAR, is that it? ATAR, sorry. Promise I'm not that old. You're worrying about, okay, so what am I going to get and what have you, right? The most important thing is actually picking something you're going to enjoy, because the skills you learn are going to form the foundation of your learning base, of your knowledge base. And then you're going to learn a lot on the job. I learned from my first job in project management, we did project management, and that is an absolute political nightmare. You're talking about trying to stop two people arguing and be productive with one another, more or less. And that's skills you can't learn in a classroom. You can't learn that in a lecture hall. But that said, if you're interested in computing, there's a whole range of skill sets that are important that you learn in a uni environment, and then learn 70% is what we say here on the job. And the other point that I want to make around this slide is people. Again, people. I think it's Richard Branson who says that organizations are just people. Your people are the most important part to any organization, and they're the ones who are going to help you. Leverage off them, leverage off other people in your network. In my second job, when I was learning about different development skills, my manager at the time, my boss, was an incredible mentor, and because of him, I landed the next job that I decided I wanted to go down, because I had the skill set that I needed, and that was based on just his mentoring. Right, okay, so well, that's done. I'll hand over to Niall, give a quick summary, and then see how we go.
Thanks for that. Thanks, Tony. Oh. Oh, jeez. We'll get there eventually.
Can you please clip that onto your shirt because it's rusting a bit on the camera?
Oh, really?
Thank you.
How's that? All right, thanks for that, Tony. I just wanted to touch on a couple of points that Tony mentioned around people and travel. People, start, and about networking actually, and people and networking, start today. The person next to you, as Tony mentioned, you're going to probably see him 6 years down the track when you're out in the workforce. You start networking today, right? You get into uni, join some of the societies out there, right? Meet new people, Always keep meeting people. It is so important in the real world to be meeting people, networking with people, because that's how you find out about some of the exciting things that are happening out there. So, people, as he said. Travel. It's a real personal thing for me, travel. Last year I went on a backpacking trip. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And you know what? I came back and I told my managers, guys, next year I want to go overseas. With you or without you. Not with them personally, but with the organization EY, or without them. And the thing is, because traveling and experiencing new things is part of your learning. Going out there, working in the UK, working in Russia, China, US, wherever, you're learning, you're experiencing things. And you know what? A lot of countries make it very easy. Before you turn 31, you can get a visa. It takes about 2 weeks. Before you turn 31, you can get a visa to go there and work for 2 years. Get a working holiday, basically. So you can work and have a holiday at the same time. 2 weeks. It's crazy. They make it very easy. That's something called the youth mobility visa. But when you're at uni, there's actually a couple of things there is a thing you can do, is things like the exchange program. Think about it. You can probably see it out there. I wish I'd done it. I didn't do it, but I wish I had, because it's a great experience. Traveling will give you a lot in your career. And a lot of the times you'll find more opportunities. You'll find opportunities. And when you see an opportunity, grab it. Take it. Because you may not get that opportunity again. So I wanted to touch on those 2 points because they're very, very important. Thank you again. Hopefully you guys have gotten some insights from this little presentation. If you guys have any questions, of course, we'll be free after the talk outside or at the booth downstairs. Feel free to ask us anything about what's it like being at uni, what's it like being at work. Thanks, guys, and good luck in your exams.
Good luck.
Thank you very much, Tony and Kunal. Now I'm going to spend the next little while talking about the programs here at Macquarie University and how we can help prepare you for your career in information technology. Actually, I do want to pick up on a couple of points that Kunal and Tony made, particularly the point about following your interests in your study. Okay, there can be a lot of pressure on you to choose something that seems like that's going to be the absolute thing where all the money is going to be, or all the work opportunities are going to be. And it is important that when you graduate you can get yourself a job. But you're going to do better at studying things that you love. So if you choose the things that you're interested in and study those, you'll develop the skills you need to take up a job in a variety of areas, and you'll do well. And in the end, you'll find out what you're interested in. Not everybody goes to uni knowing what they're going to finish up as. You might think right now, I want to be a software engineer, I want to be a programmer, but in the end, you might decide you actually want to work with business information systems. So the computing department of Macquarie University has 25 academics. I'm one of them, including a professor who holds the Microsoft Chair in Innovation. We have 15 research assistants and 60 PhD students. We have 5,500 undergraduate students enrolling in our units and 380 postgraduate students enrolling in our units of study. In 2012, my university did a study of student satisfaction, and Macquarie University's computing was rated 86.5% satisfaction, which is 9% above the discipline average, and 6th out of 38 universities surveyed. So what that says is that our students like their experience here. The degrees that you can take at Macquarie University, the Bachelor of Information Technology is our premium degree that targets people who want a career in information technology. This degree program will give you all the necessary foundational skills. As was said, you learn a lot after you leave university. And while we want to teach you a lot while you're here, the fact is that everybody says, it was after I left uni that I really learnt all my skills. In fact, I had a guy work with me for 3 years, and he worked on a project that I was heading up, a consultancy project, and after 3 years he said, "You taught me everything I know, Len." And it wasn't the university program he was talking about. It was the 3 years real world experience. The real world teaches you, and the work that you do teaches you all those directly applicable skills. But the university is about giving you the foundations. It's about giving you the basic understandings of all the key principles that underlie information technology, computing, networking, whatever it is you study, so that when you're faced with a particular problem, you can say, "Ah, yes, that's what that is. I know what to do with that. I know where to go. I know what to learn. I know what I need to learn. I know how to go about learning it. And I know how to develop the skills I need for this particular problem." And particularly in IT, there are in reality no two problems that are identical. And so every new problem you face, you have to develop some additional skills, some additional capabilities in order to solve it. So the Bachelor of Information Technology has 3 majors that are available to you. The Software Technology major focuses on programming skills and software development skills and project management and so on. The Business Information Systems major focuses on the technologies that businesses need in order to manage all this information we've been talking about that businesses have. So that's database and related technologies and all the stuff that you need to know. And that particular program has some elements of business in it as well, some components of business, so that you can understand the business context and not merely the technology. The Web Design and Development major is new for 2014, and it focuses on the technologies you need in order to be able to develop websites and develop internet-based services. These particular majors are also available within the Bachelor of Science. Now, one of the features of degrees at Macquarie University is our flexibility. It's been a hallmark since the very beginning, very establishment of the university. And what that means in this case is that you can study software technology in the Bachelor of Information Technology if you want to be an IT person. If you want to be a researcher in physics, then you would study physics together with information technology to be able to do the information technology that's relevant to physics. If you wanted to be a researcher in bioinformatics, you would study biology and information technology together. Right? So depending on what your interests are, you may take these majors, 1 or even 2 of them, within the Bachelor of Science degree, or take one of these majors together with a science major. And you can, within a 3-year degree, you can do 2 majors. A double major, it's called. Besides the BIT, with the 3 majors, we have the BIT in Games Design and Development. This is a special program, and the focus of this program is developing games. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. The Bachelor of E-Business is a program that targets giving you all the skills that you need in order to support business over the internet. Now, that's the way things are going. E-commerce and so on, that's the way business is moving, and business needs people who have both IT skills and business knowledge together with internet related skills and knowledge, and that's what the Bachelor of E-Business is aimed to deliver. The Bachelor of Engineering is a 4-year engineering program, and one of the majors available within that is software engineering. So if you want to be an engineer and with a focus on engineering software systems, then that could be the program for you. In addition, Macquarie University has a very interdisciplinary and, as I said, flexible structure, and examples of that are the fact that within the Bachelor of Commerce, you can take the major in Business Information Systems. So that means you can do the Bachelor of Commerce degree where many students major in things like accounting. And you can actually major in Business Information Systems. There you could even combine a major in Business Information Systems with a major in accounting, if you want to have a strong business background, right? The Bachelor of Business Analytics is a new program in 2014 that focuses specifically on the big data problem that Kunal mentioned before. the issue of analysing large data sets and extracting the information business needs from it. The Bachelor of Arts has a major in interactivity and games. That's more focused on the media and design side of games and less focused on the technology. And the Bachelor of Science Advanced program is a program for students who have high ATARs and are interested in possibly becoming researchers, or at least interested in getting engaged in research. So from the very first year, you conduct a research project. An example of that, I had a student work with me in the first semester looking at analysing images, taking the images, collecting the data and analysing it to detect printing defects on plastic canisters. That was a lot of fun for both him and I, and that was a first year project. So the Bachelor of Science Advanced program allows students to take those same majors, such as the software technology major, but to incorporate a research component throughout their degree program. Now, these programs are accredited by the Australian Computer Society, and this accreditation is an international accreditation. So as Kunal said, travel, and as Tony said, travel is a lot of fun, and it's an opportunity for you in IT. It's a field that's all over the world. And these countries, the USA, Canada, UK, Japan, Korea, Hong Kong, Chinese Taipei, and of course Australia, have entered into an agreement called the Seoul Accord. And we fully expect that as time goes by, additional countries will sign on. And under this agreement, qualifications that are accredited by the Australian Computer Society in Australia as being professional IT qualifications, those same qualifications are recognised in any of those other countries as being equivalent IT professional qualifications. So that makes your study here even more portable. Makes it easier to travel to another country and get a job as a professional in this area. So what makes Macquarie University different? Well, one of our key differentiating factors is the strong interdisciplinary nature of many of our programs. Computing is located within the Faculty of Science, and most of our computing programs have some elements from science, such as a little bit of mathematics as appropriate to what you need. But in addition, our programs have links to other faculties. So the Bachelor of E-Business contains a strong component from the Faculty of Business and Economics. So does the Business Information Systems major within the BIT. Both of these programs are interdisciplinary, bringing together business skills and IT skills. And that's a good combination to have, because if you work in business as an IT person, you need to understand what the business people want from you in order to be able to deliver the IT outcome, the IT technology that they need to get the business outcomes they want. And so people who have an understanding of both, they end up being the project managers of some of these projects. The Games Design and Development program, that's interdisciplinary with the Faculty of Arts, because computer gaming is not just about technology and programs, it's about that, but it's also about designing games. All these degree programs are, however, managed by one department. Now, some universities, I won't name any, in some universities, information systems is taught completely in a different part of the university compared to programming and software technology. But at Macquarie University, they're all taught and all managed from the Department of Computing with interdisciplinary links and components. Now, that means that there's a consistency between these programs, a connectedness between them, and that allows us to help you with flexibility. What we want for you is for you to be able to find your pathway through and end up with the degree that represents your interests and your strengths. And it's often the case that when you come to university, you think you're going to be one thing, or maybe you don't even know what you're going to be. And you get to, and the process of university is a process of discovery. It certainly was for me. All those years ago when I did my undergraduate program, I didn't know at all what I wanted to do. And I came to Macquarie University, actually, because of the flexibility of the programs here, because I could discover along the way what I wanted to do. And so, as your interests evolve along the way, you can change direction. It's easier to transfer between our degree programs, and it's easy to transfer between majors. And if you're thinking at the beginning, well, okay, I think my primary interest is programming, so I want to do software technology, but I've also got a bit of interest in business information systems, then as an advisor who often sits opposite students, I would say to you, choose a program that allows you to follow both later on, that keeps your options open. Keep your options open. Do the foundations in both areas. They're actually highly related anyhow. But do those foundations, and then you can choose as you go along where you want to end up. Another distinguishing feature of Macquarie University is the PACE program, Professional and Community Engagement. Have any of you been to talks about that here today? No? Okay, well there was some special talks about it. In fact, there's even some little cards and brochures and things floating around here. And it's a program that says that every student at Macquarie University does one unit of study that engages them with their profession or with the community in some way. And it does include options such as travelling overseas and engaging with the community in various volunteer capacities. For computing students, for IT students, every one of our programs includes a PACE unit. This unit engages you with a real-world project from industry, with a real-world supervisor in industry. A group of students work together to solve a problem. And you may not all be the same type of student. Some of you might have studied software technology, and some of you might have studied business information systems. You come together and you work together to solve a problem in industry that has elements of both those in it. And so you become a team. It gives you some experience of working in a team, which is what's going to happen in industry. You're not going to be on your own. It gives you some experience of solving real-world problems, dealing with the sorts of challenges, and it brings together all the things you've learned throughout your 3 years at uni, brings together all those skills, and you get to see them and you get to apply them. So that's the PACE program for computing students. So as I said before, the Bachelor of Information Technology is the main degree for students in information technology. It's a 3-year degree program that gives you the computing skills and knowledge you need to be a professional in any discipline. Here we have one of our students who's studying computer networking. And so he's actually working with some computer network equipment there, wiring it up and experimenting with constructing networks and learning how networks work and how they're configured and all those sorts of things. This is the practical component of a unit where, of course, there's a lot of theory as well to learn. The 3 majors in the BIT, to recap, the software technology major focuses on core programming skills, core software development skills, including management of the software development process and design and requirements analysis and so on. So this prepares you for a career in information communication technology, prepares you to be a project manager, prepares you to work in software development. The web design and development major gives you the skills to work as a web architect, to be the designer of web services and not just building simple websites, but serious technical challenges to provide services over the internet to people through the web model. Business information systems prepares you to work as a business analyst, a person who goes into a company and says, okay, now what you're doing currently, you need to bring IT to bear on it, so this is how we're going to do it. Right? Analysing what's going on and analysing how to bring IT to bear. Requirements engineering, identifying what needs to be done and specifying that so that somebody else can implement it. Analysing systems and information architects are people who design the information system, that big data problem. They design the collection of all that and the storage. The BIT in Games Design and Development is about designing and creating video games. Here we have some students in the lab looking at and studying one of the games that they're working with. In this degree program, which is joint together with the Department of Media, Music, Communication and Cultural Studies in the Faculty of the Arts, that's a big name, isn't it? But they provide the side of understanding the media and understanding games as a cultural artefact. The related program, as I said, is the Bachelor of Arts major in Interactivity and Games, which doesn't have the same emphasis on the IT side. The this is not just about making games. Video games are software artifacts, right? So ultimately they're created by programmers. And in order to complete this degree, you will complete all the studies to be a qualified programmer. We want you to be able to go out there and to build computer games, but we also want you to be able to change to another direction of career later on and be qualified to program in other areas besides computer games. We don't want you to be locked into such a narrow thing. But it's more than that in this program. You learn about the programming and development, yes, of the games and how to build them, but you also learn about the design of the games and the modelling of real-world processes that goes into making games realistic. You learn about games theory. You learn about what makes a game interesting, what makes people want to come back and keep playing it, what makes it so addictive. You learn about how to prepare the story of your game, okay, so that the game makes sense to the player and they understand it as a story. You learn about the technology behind it, animation and graphics technologies, and you learn about the social and cultural aspects of video games and how they fit into our culture and their social impacts. The Bachelor of E-Business focuses on computing skills and knowledge to enhance your professionalism in business management. It provides you with a broad view of IT together with business. So you have databases and web technology, core things that underlie business information systems, and then you have the business information systems itself. You have international business communications and organisations so that you understand a bit about the business context, particularly as it applies to internet-based business, conducting business through the internet with people remotely. And enterprise systems integration is about bringing together large systems of software and so on to put together something that a particular business needs. Now, I like to point out that there are scholarship opportunities that may be relevant to you. If you expect to possibly get an ATAR of 98.5 or above, if you apply for the Macquarie University Merit Scholarship, that's awarded to anybody who gets that ATAR, and it's $12,000 a year, I think up to 5 years. There are also scholarships for people who suffer financial hardship, for people who have to live in the city and leave their home out in the country, for people who have other particular problems. There are scholarships, Commonwealth scholarships and faculty level scholarships as well. And I encourage you to go and have a look at the university homepage /scholarships and see whether there's anything there that might be relevant to you, and if so, apply for it. It can't hurt to have a bit of money to help you through. Unfortunately, some students don't get the ATAR to get admission into the degree program they want. This is just a reality, and we usually encounter such students in January when they come for special advising or try and find out what they can do. So here's a hint. We do have pathways into Macquarie University that are, at this point in time, your backup strategy. And what you can do is you can go to the university homepage and there's a search engine there, says Google Site Search, and you type in pathways and you'll find things like this. The non-award program, through the Centre of Open Education on campus, you can enrol in units of study on campus. You pay a fee for them. You do the units of study. If you complete 4 units of study and pass them, you can then enrol in a university degree program, and those units of study will count towards your degree. Okay, so you're proving yourself that your ATAR doesn't represent your ability to study at university. You're proving that by actually doing study at university. You've got to get a grade point average of 2.0, which is passes or better. The Sydney Institute of Business and Technology is on campus. It offers a Diploma of Computer Science. So if you're interested in IT, which is presumably why you're here today, you can enrol at SIBT. It's a year-long program, and if you meet the GPA requirements in that program, you can then enrol in the Macquarie degree at the second year level. Because the part of the Diploma of Computer Science are units that are identical to, in their content and their aims, the units that we actually teach here for first year students. So you complete the units that are our first year, but you do it in a small classroom environment with students of SOBT, okay, and taught by the people of SOBT. But it's all managed very well so that it's all equivalent and meets the same learning goals. Another opportunity is to enrol at a TAFE college or at a university, complete a year there, and then on the basis of that apply for enrolment at Macquarie University and gain some advanced standing, some credit. It isn't always the case that when you follow these pathways, particularly the last one, that you can still complete your degree in 3 years. SIBT, if you're successful in that pathway, you can still complete your degree in 3 years. You might be wondering, what underpins all this? What do we do at Macquarie University in computing in the way of research? We have a group that does research in virtual reality and games. Have any of you seen the cave, the virtual reality tour? So you go over to, a good number of you have, you go over to the ground floor of E6A, and there's some demonstrations there. It's over in that sort of direction. And then on the next floor up, there's the cave, a room where we run virtual reality experiments and so on. And this photo shows a guy who's wearing a data glove. It can read the position of his hand and his fingers, and by using this glove, he is controlling a computer that is generating a scene of mountains, and he's literally flying, well, metaphorically, flying over that in this virtual reality world. Security and cryptography, we have a research group that is very strong in this area. So it's about how you secure computer systems, including how you use cryptography to secure information. But it's a lot more than that. You've got to design the whole system to be secure. Mobile and wireless communications, we have a research group that are studying that. We have a research group that are working in language technology. That's where the computer can understand natural language. So you can talk to it or you can type words at it and it can understand those, interpret those, execute some task, and then give you the results back in human language so that you can understand it rather than getting big tables of numbers or stuff that's hard to read. Information systems, that's all about the systems that provide the information that business needs, so databases, but a whole lot more than that. The application of IT to business, basically. Artificial intelligence, making computers that are smart, and knowledge systems. Category theory, theoretical underpinnings of computer science, and surprisingly, mathematics that we can use to describe databases and information systems and so on at a very high level. Programming languages, how we can improve the way that our computers, that we tell our computers what we want them to do, the way that we program them. So, I hope that's been helpful. Are there any questions? Okay. Well, as Kunal and Tony said, they will be available after this talk, and so will I. You can either catch us just outside here, or as soon as we're finished talking with the people who do catch us outside here, we'll go downstairs into the courtyard down there, and there's a stand that says computing, and you'll be able to find us just near that.